He came down from there.
Hey everybody, Arnaldo Wafferman here, and I want to talk to you about a brand new product from American Audio, the Media Operator BT. This great little 1U unit is a perfect solution for permanent installations such as roller rinks, restaurants, even background music at a nightclub, your home project. I'm going to be using this one for my gazebo, or even if you just need a quick backup solution, or for a mobile DJ who wants to create a super portable ceremony or rental system. You got to check this out. Let's take a look at some of the features, and you're going to be amazed at the sound quality that comes out of the American Audio Media Operator BT. Okay, so again, very slim design. It's a 1U unit. In the front, we have our SD card reader, we have our USB reader, and plus Bluetooth controller, right? This is very similar to the ELS Go series. All in one, you've got different control buttons on here. On your input options here, we can select between 4 different lines as well as auxiliary. Auxiliaries here in the front. We've got a very simple music volume, so you select your input, then the music volume there. We have our high-low control, very basic, controls there. And of course, we have our microphone control, high and low, and microphone in. Now the microphone in supports either 1/4 inch or XLR. The back of the Media Operator BT, very straightforward. We've got 4 RCA inputs, we've got RCA output, unbalanced 1/4 inch output, and balanced XLR output. It is rack mountable. That's why I said this is perfect if you are creating a backup ceremony, if you're a mobile DJ, right? Or if you want to create a really nice portable ceremony system, this should be the heart of it because you can control your microphones, you can have different inputs, just a lot of different options from one nice small unit. This is really easy to just put in a server rack if you're at a restaurant and just have some background music playing. Great for a roller rink, especially if they don't. There's a couple roller rinks in our area that don't always have DJs. They just have days where they just let the music automatically play. Or heck, if you have a home system and you just want something you can play music from. Pairing is very easy. You just hit the mode button till blue comes on for Bluetooth. And then you go to your iPhone, Android, whatever the case may be, and you'll see where it says Bluetooth. You connect it, and it's good to go. Paired within a matter of seconds. It's very easy, right? Once it's all paired, I'm just going to select my auxiliary because that's basically, again, I can do a 1/4 inch input, I can do USB, SD, or Bluetooth. So we're going to set auxiliary. Very nice, clean sound coming out. There's no hiss or anything like that. No hiss. I'm going to walk in front of the speaker so my microphone picks it up. It's very, very quiet, so that's really nice. But more importantly, how does it sound with a microphone? Well, let's find out. I'm going to bring the mic volume all the way down. We're going to plug it in. Just a little cheap handheld. Check, check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. Again, nice, clean sound. It's not distorted by any means, and more importantly, there's no hiss coming out. This is really important when you're talking about a nightclub environment, restaurant. You don't want to, make an announcement and then the whole time. Super compact, powerful, clean sounding. That is the American Audio Media Operator BT. 4 inputs, microphone input, plus you have 1/8 inch, you have USB, you have SD card, and most importantly, Bluetooth. And it's got a pretty good range out of it. I walked all over my office and I didn't drop any Bluetooth signal. So that's really nice. Real affordable, lightweight, easy to rack mount. You gotta have one of these in your backup system or again, your venue. You're gonna love it. My name's Arnaldo Wafferman. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, heck, if you didn't enjoy the video, make sure you click the thumbs up or thumbs down. It really doesn't matter, but thumbs up is good. And of course, click subscribe. Please share with your friends. Thank you all so much. Any comments, questions, anything like that, leave them down below. You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching, and God bless. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Arnaldo Wafferman here, doing another live stream. I'm actually doing it outdoors in my backyard. Woo! Check it out. Yay. I would actually be out there in the swing where it's nice and pretty, but it's still kind of raining out here. So for those of you that are tuning in, thank you very much for tuning in. For those of you that don't know what this is, basically it's a Q&A. You ask questions. I do my best to answer them live. Now the questions can be on anything, right? It can be on, let me adjust this camera a little bit. It can be on lighting. It can be on DMX. I really wish that, you could actually see better. Let me switch here. Hang on. There we go. That's much better. So again, it can be on lighting, it can be on DMX, it can be on whatever the heck you want it to be. And like I said, I'm going to do my best to be able to answer everything live. So I'm actually going to kind of work backwards here. Anthony asked if this is the new gazebo. And yes, it is. So let me quick show that to you. It's still under construction. I want to do some string lighting, and then we're going to do a ceiling fan there. I did not cover the sides there because I want the heat to be able to escape, right? If you put a ceiling fan and the roof is covered completely, all that ceiling fan is going to do is just push that hot air right back down. So that stays open, and then I'm going to use what we call no-seams, which is like a tiny little gnat. It's a screen that keeps them out, but it looks solid black. So that way the air will be able to escape, at least the hot air. That is the swing there with little cup holders and stuff. That's the pond that I made. Walkway all the way through. Again, excuse the mess. We're in the middle of doing some stuff. And those are my chickens. They just went back in. They were out here, and we just found a kite, which is a type of falcon. And I came out here, and yeah, luckily he didn't get one. So better be safe than sorry. They go right back in. Anthony asked if the internet is going to work today. I don't know. So far, so good. So let's see here. So Trevor asks, we're going to start at the top and then we're going to go down. And again, if you guys see any questions, comments, anything like that, or anything that you want to know, let me know. Trevor asks, do you have an ADJ cannon wash? Great light, but I'm finding the brackets are holding the light up as well as other fixtures. Wouldn't get the same issue if you own them. I actually don't have any cannons, but I've used them in stalls. I've helped other DJs with them. I haven't had any issues, and I believe it uses the same bracket as the original tripod profile. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe it's the same design. There should be two little rubber washers on each side, and if it's not locking in, either A, you may have stripped it, B, it may be a problem. There may be a problem with one side, which is totally possible. You may just be a statistic, unfortunately. So call ADJ service, let them know, and see what they can tell you. But yeah, there should definitely be at least those two rubber washers, and make sure that that piece locks in all the way, right? If you tighten it all the way and it still turns, that means it's stripped, and now you know what's going on. If it does lock in all the way, and it does have the rubber washers, still call ADJ service and tell them, hey, it's not working. Can I buy it? Can I get a couple more of the little washers? And you should be good. So, Trevor, hopefully that helps out. Daniel says, I have two EVEL. I need to know the question, Daniel. Sorry. Can't help you there. Let's see. Daniel, oh, there we go. Daniel says, I have two EV-ZLX. Would it help to add subs to get a high volume? Absolutely. So what happens is, not just with the ZLX, but with any speaker, if you do it in full range mode, well, now the amp has to work to produce the high, mid, and low frequencies. If you do HPF, the high pass filter, those low frequencies are taken out. It usually crosses them over at 100 hertz, right? So now it's only worrying about the highs and the mids. So now it's taking less energy to move that cone, because when you're talking about bass frequency especially, imagine about how much power it takes to physically move that cone in and out. There's a lot of energy that requires for that. So what I've noticed is, depending on the speaker, whether it's a ZLX, the ETX, or even a different brand, that as soon as I add a sub, I could take the volume twice as louder and I'm not peaking, whereas I would be in full range mode. So absolutely, if you put the ZLX, and you can do it without a sub right now, right, Daniel? Crank them up, crank them right until you get that peak light, and then put them on high pass filter or cross them over about 100 hertz, then see how much louder you can get. You're definitely going to see a difference and hear a difference in how much louder you get. Let's see here. So again, wow, this has been a really short stream. No, if you guys have any questions, make sure you post them down below. I see some stuff coming in via Facebook, so I'm not going to be able to really answer too much via Facebook, but I'm going to try to answer some of the questions. So hopefully they are tuned in while I read those. Make sure that you guys put the questions down below. So give me 1 second here. Charles Ducati says, "Hey Ronaldo, I asked this question before, but I wanted to ask one more time. What is the best Gobo projector I could buy? I'm looking for brightness and ease of use." Well, if you want something that's easy to use, go with the Icon series from ADJ. I would say the Icon IR, but if you're just doing, let's say, for example, country clubs or stuff that's maybe about 100-foot throw, look into the Icon Profile, because aside from the fact that I think it's a better looking fixture, it's much smaller, more discreet. You have the framing shutters, and you've got the zoom lens, which is really nice. It's only a 32-watt power draw on the LED, but it's still pretty bright. If you've not seen my video on that, please make sure to watch the video. It's mind-blowing. If you're doing, smaller events and you want something battery-powered, the new, oh my goodness, the Pinpoint Gobo is incredible. It's only a 12-watt LED draw, but this sucker is bright. I'm telling you, anybody that's seen one in person will tell you they cannot believe how bright it is. If you need big boy toys, check out the new ADJ, not the Icon Profile, the Encore Profile, which is basically a Source 4 competitor. It has a big, bright 100-watt power draw LED. I mean, this sucker is putting out some light, but it's not your cool white LED. It's a warm white LED. So if you have other Source 4 lights or other traditional halogen lights, my goodness, it's hot out here. Any traditional lights, you're not going to have to worry about, putting gels on your LED light to make sure the color temperatures match. So that's one of the things I do like about that. Let's see here. I think that was all the questions on Facebook. I think everything else that I answered personally. Okay, completely unrelated question, but Rob asks, "Hey, drone question for you. I got one for Christmas. Couldn't use it till now because of snow. Try to fly it and it's hard. My uncle says to try tying a cord as landing gear so you can only go so high. I'm not sure what kind of drone you have, but if you have a good drone, anything with a GPS in it and stabilizer, yeah, it's super easy. I mean, my drone, first time I flew it, bam, I figured it out. How like the little smaller drones that don't have GPS, yeah, those things suck. Because you basically had to hold your yaw and, your pitch basically just right for it to stay. As soon as you let go, it came crashing down. Whereas with a drone that actually stabilizes, it would just be up to go, basically go higher to ascend and then down to descend. But I didn't have to hold it to have the, the right pitch that I want or anything like that. So just get a good drone and you should be fine. Let's go back over to this portion over here. Next question. DJ Trevor Owens asked, "What do you use to film your gig logs? We were looking at a family camera that can also shoot low lighting video without breaking the bank." Not going to happen. Just plain and simple. You either break the bank or you get crap. So this is what I recommend. The body's not important, and I do talk about this quite a bit in the Master School Dances commercials about, taking photos for DJs. And I'll post a link to that as well. But basically, I would recommend, at the most, I would take it to 70D. I love the 70D because it was made for video. It's got autofocus that doesn't suck. So that's really nice. But it's the crop sensor, meaning uses the EFS, right? You're not going to get as grain-free video as you would on a full-frame sensor. Trust me, you're a DJ, you're never going to notice that, honestly. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but DJs are never going to notice that part. But the EFS lenses are much cheaper. Now, as far as lenses, if you want low light, you want something that can go on a wide aperture. So something maybe goes around 2.8. For that, I would recommend the 1755 2.8. It has image stabilization. It's a great walk-around lens. And it's not terribly expensive. You're looking about $1,000. So right around $2,000, you can have a great camera that can do video, photos, and that can work in low light. If you only have a couple $100, then get a GoPro. But GoPros suck with photos, and they're so-and-so on low light video. But for $300, they're about as good as you're going to get with that. If you're trying to stay under the 2,000 range, I would still say go with the 1755 lens, and then maybe get a used T2i or T5i. You can find I think, a T5i for under $400 now. So I would definitely say go with that. That'll save you quite a bit of money on that. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. I want to see if I can find this video. That would help out a little bit. Maybe. I guess not. Alright, let's go to the next question. How do you carry crank stands to events? What is the determining factor of bringing them along? Well, if I need to get truss up in the air, we bring them, plain and simple. As far as which stand we use, it depends. If I need something that goes 16 feet up in the air, then the 5200s are it. If it's insanely heavy truss run, 5200s are the 5000s. If it's just going to be, let's say 20, 30 feet of trussing, and it's just, you know, medium rig, I'll use my 4000s. The 3900s are lighter, but the 4000s fit inside the trussing, so that makes things a lot easier. As far as carrying them, well, you pick them up and you carry it in. I mean, you can put the 3800s in the bag for the ST132s. The 5200s and the 5000s have bags on them, and that worked out a little bit as far as, you know, getting the right bags. But then you have like the 4000s, there really wasn't a bag that I found for it. The 3900s don't have a bag to fit it, so I put those inside the truss, and that works out real nicely. And that was a question from Raymundo Quiros. Thank you for your question. Trevor says, thanks for doing this. I'm a fan, no joke. Well, thank you for watching. Preston asks, in my DMX, can you create a scene where fixtures are sound active, but only on one color? I'm guessing you mean like movements? And the answer is no. Yeah, though there really isn't a way. For that, you would want to have CompuShow, because CompuShow, you can create a show and make it sound active. You can even tell CompuShow to make the movements, like the pan movements by bass and the tilt by the high, so you can specify frequencies. For that, I'm a huge fan of CompuShow. Give me 1 second here. Sorry, I'm having like a million different things coming up. Oh man, I was hoping I had this video, but I guess I do not, so I will have to post that later. Alright, next question we have that was from Preston. Trevor asked, do you own the Yamaha DXR15s? I have QAC K12s, which I know you aren't a fan of, and I'm looking for a new system. If you're looking for something equivalent to the K12s, the DXR15s are fantastic. I do use them. I actually used them this past weekend, or weekday, whatever, for a kickoff party, right, for the juniors, welcome them into seniorhood. It was about 400 students. I didn't want to bring a sub because it was just a low-budget event. I wanted to get in, get out quickly, because it was in the middle of school hours, too. And 2 of those 400 students, I let them run full mode. Man, they really pound. They sound great, and you don't need a sub, so that's really nice. And they look good, too. Let's see. So, yeah, Trevor, definitely go with the DXR15s. You won't be disappointed. Raymundo says, thanks, Arnaldo. Let's see here. Hold on. Again, guys, questions. Please don't text. Don't send me the questions via Facebook. I will never see them. Instead, just leave them in the comment section below. Those of you tuning in, this is the 5th Q&A. Again, always impromptu. I appreciate you all tuning in. Earlier, Trevor had asked about, you know, which camera to get. DJs, not only how to take photos, but also how to use that for video, how to really market your photos and videos to do something incredible. But that being said, it's also good if you are just getting into photography and you don't want to make any mistakes. Birds. So for that, I definitely recommend the Master School Dances YouTube, or the Master School Dances downloadable series, which is called Photography for DJs. And in just a little bit, I'm actually going to play that video so you guys can see what that is all about. The video is available for only $75, or you can get the entire Master School Dances series for $2.95, or $2.99, excuse me. If you buy each video individually, it's like $360, so just get the whole thing in one shot, call it a day. If you're doing school dances, this is a must-have video series because it teaches you how to market, how to sell, how to dress, how to wear, how to smell, no joke, how to deal with venues, how to give venue a writer and not have them laugh at you, performance, how to MC for a high school or teenage crowd, how to pick out the music, how to mix the music. I mean, literally, it teaches you a little bit of everything. That being said, keep putting in your questions. I'm going to play a quick commercial that's going to tell you a little bit about photography for DJs. Hey everyone, Arnaldo Offerman with Master School Dances, here to talk about photography for DJs. So, first of all, when it comes to choosing a camera and a lens, the most important part is choosing a good body. There's 3 different types of sensors out there, and it's really dwindled down to 2. You have your full frame sensor, you have your APS-C, and you have your APS-A. Inside to the sensor, it's only getting parallel rays of light. That means that as we're shooting, the front is going to be in focus, the back is going to be a lot more in focus as well, but the image is going to be significantly darker because you're letting less light in. Using these examples that I'm showing on the screen now, you're going to see this image that was shot at a low aperture value shown on the screen. And then the same image, ISO, everything was all left the same. Aperture was moved to a much higher value, so it was a less direct light coming in. With the TV and AV, you choose either your shutter speed or your aperture, and then your exposure, and then the camera does the rest. So for example, let's say I'm shooting a gig log and there's tons of lights going everywhere and it's making my exposure go crazy. I can actually tell my camera, okay, I want it to be this bright or this dark the entire time, but I need to make sure that my camera stays exactly at 1/50th of a second, or it stays at 2.8. And all the settings will change around to make sure that it stays at the exposure you want by keeping either the shutter value or your aperture value that you've chosen. Lens, and I show how the entire venue has been transformed with my lighting, but my DJ setup isn't in the way, that it actually adds to the overall look of the room. Now the same thing goes when you're actually shooting people dancing. If you are wanting just the lights and you don't care if their faces are shown, you have to make sure you have floods. And I discuss about this on the other Master School Dance videos. You gotta have floods when you're doing a light show. As you're shooting, the floods will almost work like off-camera flashes. You can use the floods to your advantage to get some really cool photos of the people dancing. And as you're actually editing the photos, you're gonna notice that their faces may not even be visible. Again, not a big deal for us. We're not there to capture the faces of people. We're there to capture our lighting. So keep that in mind. But let's say it's still a little bit too dark. Pop in your flash. You can diffuse it with one of these. And of course, it makes the flash go all the way out. Different diffusers do different things. Do your research on that. Find one that you like. You can bounce it off the ceiling, or you can aim it directly out. And again, hit your little center button, and you can control your light. Check, check. Well, that was it. Can you guys hear me now? Are you kidding me? Like, it shows that it has audio coming in. I'm so glad that we did this whole thing, and my goodness. I'm gonna give somebody my cell phone number because these questions or the comments are not popping up. Basically, I don't know what the heck's going on, but the comments are not popping up. I'm having to continuously refresh for them to come in. So let's try this one more time. Waiting for somebody to tell me they can hear. Okay, I'm getting confirmation you guys can hear. Jesus Christ. Okay, so 2.4 gigahertz. Anthony asks, yes, I use it. my wireless DMX. I have WDMX, Wi-Fi, Wi-Flex. I've used them all at the same time. No issues. Keep in mind, I'm in, theme park areas where there's tons. We're talking hundreds of routers, within, one hotel ballroom, and I've had no problems, okay? My live video is a little bit iffy, but that's because I have a cheaper live video rig. I use the System 10 Pros from Audio Technica all the time, and I've had no problems at all. So maybe the issue is with cheaper gear or older technology, but the newer stuff, I've had no problem. But you have to understand and know when to tell that the 2.4 gigahertz network is clogged. And keep in mind, it's more than just Wi-Fi routers. Certain keys, the electronic keys are running on that bandwidth. Bluetooth is running on that bandwidth. So quite a bit can clog that up easily. So you got to make sure you scan everything ahead of time, especially if your system has a built-in scanner or frequency hopper, and test it thoroughly so you don't get an embarrassment beforehand. But yeah, no issues with 2.4 gigahertz. Trevor asked what brand of XLRs I use and what I stay away from. I stay away from the really, really cheap stuff. Because I replace it every year and it's a pain in the ass. It's no different than buying monoprice. However, I've bought a lot of custom cables from Bill, like for example, Entertainment Systems Corp, NLFX, and I've had some problems recently with their cables, but Cat really made good on it. And the nice thing about it is if the cable goes bad, they send you new ones. They're warranted for life. You just send your old ones in, they fix them, or they send you new ones. I don't know how it works. All I know is I pay for cable one time, and that's it. I tried being cheap and saving on shipping, so when one cable went bad, I went ahead and just saved it till I got another cable that went out, right? And I held it for almost a year and a half, and oh no, no other cables went bad. So that's really good, especially because I'm a multi-op. My guys treat my cables like crap, so that was really nice to know that they do last forever. Trevor also asks if I use the Yamaha speakers or the bags, or if I get different speaker bags. No, for my Yamahas, I use the Yamaha speaker covers, and Yamaha just released a new one. I'm going to be doing a video on it, so make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And basically, these bags have acoustical cloth. They're made so you can keep the bags on and still have sound coming out of them that's not muffled. And this is really nice because that means you can use them outdoors. If it starts sprinkling like it did now, you're not going to lose on your speakers. And they also make them for their subs, too. So I'm a big fan of those. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I will be uploading those pretty soon. Let's see. So now we have no audio, no audio, no audio. Trevor asks, school dance question. In the past 5 years, have you found it more difficult or the same to play songs that kids like versus what you can play via administration? I actually talk about this in my video series, the Master School Dances. So, Trevor, if you have that video series, you might want to look back on that. But I've had no increasing problems. If anything, teachers are more understanding the music is not going to get better. It's really no different than when they were kids. I mean, sexual innuendos have always been there. If you don't believe me, play Money Money. And Love Shack is about a whorehouse. I don't care what you say. Really? Read the lyrics of Love Shack. It's about a whorehouse. But in our reality, I tell them, like, look, we do our best to edit everything. We listen to all the songs. If we took every song that had any kind of... You want to sell tickets. You want students to be in a safe environment. You got to give in. Either they're going to an after party of their own and doing a lot worse than just grinding to certain songs, or you have them in a safe and secure school dance environment. And basically, they're they're going to want to have the music that they like, plain and simple. That being said, we do edit everything as best as possible. There are some songs that, like, even Prime Cuts, as great as they are, they didn't do a very good job editing. For example, Futures, Where You At? It goes, Where You Is the Back, and it still sounds like Where You Ass At. So we edit those a little bit more, and the teachers know about them. They appreciate our efforts. And there's some songs we simply will not play because if it takes us that long to edit it, then it doesn't need to be played. Let's see. We basically haven't heard anything since the second group of videos. I'm guessing now is before that. Can anybody read lips? No, I can't read lips. Okay, now you guys can hear. Great. We good. So, now that we're back to normal, make sure you guys submit your... But yeah, that being said, give me just 1 second. I'm actually going to go back into the house and plug it in so we just get a little bit better signal just in case if that's what it is. Hang on. Alright, and I'm back. Thank you very much for waiting for that. So now it's showing that it's playing at full 30 to 40 frames per second, so that's great. Trevor says, I work for the schools, so for me it's a tough balance when asked to do dances. You know, I have mixed feelings about teachers DJing school dances. I mean, there's no joke about that. Part of the problem I don't understand is how it's not a conflict of interest, especially if you're DJing for your own school. You're getting paid by the government to work at the school, so when you're taking student funds, it's a conflict of interest. That's how it is here in Florida. Obviously, usually your state's a little bit different, so kudos for that. But the big problem that I've always, I haven't had it. The big problem about it being in the school system and working school dances is that content. They're going to hold you to a much higher standard, Trev, specifically because you are a teacher. And if a parent walks in and hears, anything, right? Let's say it's a song and, it says ass, right? But it's clean, right? Let's say like Big Sean's ass, right? It was dance, 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 the edited version. They normally wouldn't say anything. But if they know there's a teacher DJing, they'll be like, oh my God, this is the music the teachers are exposing students to. They hold you to a whole different and unfair standard because you are a teacher. I don't know how you're going to achieve that balance unless you tell parents just don't come in. Plain and simple. And we do have a lot of schools that specifically tell the parents, do not come in. You're not welcome to this dance. This isn't your prom. We don't need you coming in to complain about the kids, blah, blah, blah. If you're that worried about your kids, just don't bring them. Parents are a pain when it comes to chaperones. I encourage my schools not to let parents chaperone, not to let the parents in. There's no reason for a parent to be in there. It just causes problems and embarrassment for the child. But in reality, if you do have somebody watching your butt the whole time, play your normal set, and when you see them kind of freak out a little bit, do a line dance, or do a throwback song, or do a slow song, or do, if there's Latin crowd, do like a salsa merengue or a country song, whatever the case may be, right? Just follow up with something they'll like instantly relieve us. It's like, oh my God, I'm hearing too many rap songs. Oh, okay, this is a song I know. Oh, then you go back to that, then, just kind of ease them a little bit. And that's worked really well for me. It's helped achieve a nice balance of that. Let's see. DJ G Boy, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Asks, is it a good idea to play back-to-back line dances, or do you follow line dance with a banger hit? It depends. I've had some weddings that are, like, just boring as hell. And everybody tells you there's no such thing as a bad crowd as an idiot, because there is such a thing as a bad crowd, or a crowd doesn't want to dance. And I'm in Florida, where we have a lot of country line dancers, so they want line dance after line dance after line dance. So yeah, I've done that before. I've done country line dance sets. If you're talking like, for example, Cupid Shuffle, Cha-Cha, and Electric Slide, no, I don't, because those are floor fillers. If for any reason I lose my crowd, like, let's say they wanted to do the cake cutting later on, or bar announcement happens, everybody rushes to the bar. This is a good way to get people back on the dance floor, do a little bit of dance rotation. If I need to, for any reason, let's say go from a rap set, and, then they ask me for, I don't want to say polka, but something just remotely, I really couldn't mix it in the way I wanted to. Line dance is an easy way of doing it. If I need a quick bathroom set, I'll do like the 6-minute version of the Cha-Cha Slide. Yay! So that's worked out well for me, but I don't like doing them back to back. I think it's a crappy DJ move. I really do. It's nice that I can say it. If you're doing like the Cupid Shuffle, the Cha-Cha Slide, and then let's say the Wobble, congratulations. You just pissed away 3 good songs to kind of get everybody, despite of age or demographic, out. So you just kind of ruined that set, and yeah, that was an amateurish move, in my opinion. So hopefully that answers questions. So that being said, I know this was a short one, but if there are any questions or anything like that, now is your chance to submit them in. Otherwise, I will be logging off. If you guys, I'll actually have another commercial that's coming in a little bit. So, but stay tuned, please. Don't go anywhere. If you guys have, for example, if you guys do school dances, I definitely recommend getting these Master School Dances series. I just got. But if you are, like, for example, if you watch my. As a writer of stuff, not having the venues tell you to, hey, piss off. So that's something that's one of my favorite videos that I've done. I definitely recommend that you guys get that. So real quick, I'm going to do a video on that. It's going to be about a minute. Meanwhile, start submitting your questions right away, because as long as there's questions going, I'm going to keep this segment going. So while that commercial plays, please ask any questions. Doesn't matter what it's on. I see a couple DMX questions coming up in, so we'll be addressing that right after the short announcements from Master School Dances, because, you know, well, that's me. Yellow. Here we go.
I don't think so. Are you ready? We hit turbulence. Let's go out. You know what to do, baby. Let's go. Scream at seniors. Number one. Freeze. Okay, let's turn off the lights. Hey, everyone look up at the really pretty blue chandeliers. Off. Let's speed this up a bit. Black lights on. Alright, clap, 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 clap. Yeah. Get ready to jump. 3, 2, 1, up. This is so cool. Let me see you just to see you go. Nobody does what I say, Chris. Now put your hands in the air and open like you just don't get it. Come on.
I don't know why it does that. Okay, so again, that's a performance series. Obviously, it's already out, so make sure you guys check it out. If you have a problem logging into Master School Dances, just shoot me an email. And yeah, because I know the website's been having, the server basically that I use has been having non-stop problems. I don't know what the hell is going on. So we are slowly trying to fix that. All right, so let's go ahead and go into some of these questions here. Let's go up here. Bartcrap asks, have you ever used the Midicon with Show Express / Sweetlight? If you have, what was your layout? Yeah, I took Show Express and I threw it in the garbage. Honestly, I had a lot of problems. I mean, this was back before they really added MIDI control and all that, but I don't like how it does MIDI. I don't like how I have to right-click, choose speed to speed or slow things down. I want to be able to just click, do it, click, do it. Because of that, I don't use Show Express anymore, and I was a huge Show Express unit. I had 11 different dongles that I used for all my DJs and crews, and we don't use it anymore, plain and simple. I use CompuShow. Unfortunately, Bart, I can't give you a good answer to that because I don't know anybody that's really using that software with a MIDI controller as advanced as the Midicon that actually enjoys it, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion as somebody that's used, that particular piece of software. Raimundo asks, when you started with 4 schools only, how do you sell them when you look as young as you did? Confidence. Plain and simple. All the skills that I teach in the Master School Dances, selling to DJs, selling to marketing and selling to schools video, it's it. It's all about confidence. And even when you look young, if you have the confidence, people will buy from you. Especially considering that if you set up these meetings right, you're setting it up with a student council, a student government, which is a bunch of students. So my age helps connect with them. I'm kind of dreading the time when I don't connect with the students anymore, because then I'm gonna start hurting with sales. I mean, yeah, I can still connect with the administration and all that, but that connection to the students is what really helped out. Trevor asked, do you just use trussing, or for the small gigs, do you use T-bars? If so, what kind do you like? Yeah, I've used T-bars before, even for some of the larger events. Like we had one, actually, here, I'll show you. Give me 1 second here. We had an event, it was a whole Hollywood theme. And yeah, we used the T-bars for that. Let's see, let me find a good photo. Really hate my mouse pad right now. Why are you not? There we go. Let's find a good photo of it. I want to see if you can actually see. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. Now in this one, we had 2 T-bars. And the T-bars each had a 2 in a spot pros, had a black light on it, and then we had the dots matrix. Oh my goodness, I am having such a hard time with this. There we go. Okay, so in the corners here, again, you'll see that we did the pipe and drape, and in these we used the 5200 stands, because we had the pipe and drape. Originally I was going to have it go 16 feet up in the air. Later decided we were only going to have it go about 12 feet up, because I wanted the moving heads to be able to show through, obviously. If I raised the pipe and drape 16 feet up in the air and the stand 16 feet up in the air, the moving heads couldn't be seen. So I needed the tall stand, so I used the 5200s. But essentially, that's a T-bar setup, and I really liked how it turned out. We also had an event, I don't know if I have it on my setup here, let me look, where we were setting up in a museum. It's like a science museum, and it kind of bugged the heck out of me, because we were setting up while there were still people there. So I needed something that we could easily get in and out with no issues. For that, we used a couple of T-bars. We wrapped them up with stands to make them all look nice and pretty. It was like it was a Roaring 20s theme. So let me show you what that looked like. 1 second. Check, there we go. Okay, so this actually shows you the 2 stands, and this was back when we had the ST132. So for this kind of setup, I would recommend the DT3800s or the 3900s. Put a T-stand on top. We've got our lights sitting on there, nice, bright, and pretty. And then in between, we basically had hanging from safety cables and, you know, what did we use? Yeah, we used the safety cables. We used appropriately rated safety cables. We hung the video screen. It's a really elegant looking setup, and we were able to set that up, you know, pretty quickly. You're talking less than a couple hours. We had that up, ready to go, and it also made a really nice backdrop. So yeah, we used T-stands for pretty big setups. You know, we're talking, you know, the first setup was close to, I think, $4,000 to $5,000. This one we charge about $2,500 T-bars. But trussing can really take that setup and make it a lot more, because it looks bigger and you can do more with the lights with it. So Trevor, good question on that. DJBGFX asks, what media server software do you recommend? I use Arceus, both Media Master and Grand VJ. If you're on a budget, go with Grand VJ. If you really want the best of the best, go with Media Master Pro or Express. The Pro gives you a lot more features, plus you have the video mapping. If you want video mapping, but you don't have like $2,500 for it, then go with a Grand VJ XT. If you don't have any money, go with Grand VJ. You can always upgrade to Grand VJ XT for the price difference. So that's always something, you know, much more convenient, I think. Anthony asks, do you still... Oh, let me go back. The reason I like Arceus is because it's easy to use. Video mapping is super easy, and you can run it almost on any computer. If you've not subscribed to my channel, please do so, BGFX, and look at my playlist. I have an Arceus Media Master and Grand VJ. Check out the playlist. Lots of tutorials. Hopefully that'll help out. Anthony asked, do you still have your UFOs? Yes. He asked, how is your voice after gigs? Well, knowing that, you know, how to use my voice and how to breathe, it's fine. I used to lose it quite a bit when I first started, because I couldn't find the tone that I wanted, so I kept switching, and that really hurt after a while. But now, you know, it's fine. It's all about being able to, you know, go breathe out from your stomach or from your lungs. You know, it should be, it should be from your stomach, not your lungs. You know, basically, it's almost like when you're playing an instrument. Now, I should be able to punch somebody in the stomach while they're talking or emceeing, and it should be hard. You know, they should be pushing out through their diaphragm. So yeah, my voice it's fine. You know, it's about projecting, not yelling. And then when I do my little job, put your hands up, you know, type of thing. No issues. Raimundo asks, you don't have to go into it in depth, but how do you live stream the students on the screens? Again, let's go back to Arceus, and that's how I do, right? I have my live video camera that's connected to my computer with the capture card. Go into Arceus, done. Super easy. Don't have to go too in-depth into it because it really is that easy. And of course, I have my channel playlist that gives you all that information as well. Trevor says, I like the roll lights, but I'd like ADJ to have focus on them like some of the other companies. Yeah, if you're willing to spend a couple $100 more, but DJs are already witching about the price of the Warlock. So, I mean, you can't have it both ways. And honestly, why? I mean, nobody's looking at the GOBOs, so what does it matter? Just focus it on the far end, and you're good to go. You know, that's plus, they're already cramming quite a bit in the Warlock to begin with. What do you need focus for? Nobody's looking at the GOBOs. It's only about having the beams. So if they're slightly off focus, dude, no one's going to notice. I promise you, no one's going to notice. But just focus a bit for each event, then you're good to go. G-Boy asks, do you think EV will ever make a dual 18 ATX subwoofer? Because I think that'd be awesome to compete against that JBL SRX 828. I don't know. I would have to ask Mike that. Let's do that right now. Mike Disso is with Bosch. He is one of the big boys there. Let's ask him. Hey Mike, I'm having somebody ask in the live stream if you guys will ever come up with a dual 18-inch powered sub to compete with the JBL SRX series. Here's the thing. I think that if somebody does that, or the EV does that, excuse me, it's just going to be the same price as 2 EV ETX 18. So why not just go with that and make it easier? You know, now you have redundancy, right? If one sub, let's say, were to go down or whatever the case may be, or somebody steals it, you know, whatever, you at least still have a sub. So I personally prefer that. I like having 2 amps powered speakers versus 1 amp driving 2. Again, because of that. And I think it also may be a cost issue, too. Alright, Game Surfer is spamming. Everybody say bye-bye to the idiot. Yay! Nobody cares about you, Game Surfer. Alright, let's see. Jacob says hi. Hi, Jacob. G-Boy asks, would you pick up the Yamaha DBR over the ZLX, giving it a higher giving it has a higher SPL? That's a tough question. Because the ZLX has that really, really, really nice DSP. It's got a lot of great features. The DBR has a little bit better bass, I think. I haven't really put the bass side by side. But the DBR is flatter. The ZLX is a little bit brighter. But the ZLX, you can kind of EQ a little bit, right? The DBR was made to be an affordable speaker. No fancy DSP or anything like that. The ZLX does have that really nice DSP. But I don't know. I would really have to say go to a Guitar Center. Don't let them demo it for you. Plug in your own thing in the back and listen to it. And find out. You're not going to go wrong with either one. Both of them do get loud. The DBRs do get insanely loud, but I haven't pushed the ZLX all the way either. But I do know the ZLX can get really loud as well. I really think it's a brand preference at that point. It's whatever you think sounds best or whatever brand do you trust best. But both speakers are incredible, and I think they both reach the same market. And I think that's what makes it so tough. There isn't a clear winner. You ask me this versus Yorkville or what's it called? QSE, yeah, I'll tell you which is the clear winner and why. With the EV and the Yamahas, I don't know. I really do like both. And I'm not just saying this because EV is sponsoring their show. I mean, in all seriousness. It's just the honest truth. I like the sound of both of them, which is why I use both of them. I intertwine between both. You know, it's whatever hairs up my butt that day. But it's really, okay, what's going to fit your application or what your needs the best. Jacob says, what is the best bang for the buck moving head? InnoSpot Pro, easily. But now that ADJ has released the new Focus Z3 or whatnot, I would say that one. Because it's like $100 more than the InnoSpot Pro, but you've got motorized focus like the InnoSpot Pro, but now you've got motorized zoom, you've got a brighter LED, you've got 2 gobo wheels, you have a bunch of really cool stuff. You got some kick-ass prisms on it. So I have to say it would be definitely the new Z3 for sure. Matt asked, what projectors do I use? I use the BenQ, I forgot what it is. It's like 630 something. They weren't that expensive. ST stands for short throw. I use nothing but short throws because while they may not be as bright, let's say it's only 25 or 3,000 or 3,500 lumens, I'm filling up a 20-foot screen from 20 feet away or 21 feet away or even sometimes 17 feet away. I don't need to have it as bright as a projector that would require it to be 40 feet away. So, yeah, I definitely stick with that short throw series as much as possible. I like BenQ. I know Vividtech is a real popular brand. I've had a lot of issues with the projectors and their customer service. So, I use BenQ. Jacob, great question, by the way. And Matt, same thing, good question. Jacob, how can you be alerted when you do these live streams? Well, if you go on Facebook and do, search Arnaldo Offerman, Master School Dances. There's my personal Facebook page, which I don't add everybody that sends me friend requests. Sorry, no offense, guys, but I try to keep it people that I know personally only. But I do have that like page, so like that page and just, choose to get all notifications. And I always post it on there. DJ Open Discussion, that's my group on Facebook, by the way. 5,000 plus members, 2 mods, no issues. Take that, every other Facebook group where DJs piss at each other. Nobody does that on my forum. Could be because Mike and I are really awesome mods and we don't have to moderate anything except spammers. But that being said, that's the best way because I do these things randomly. What other DJs, if any, do you watch on YouTube? This is from Trev. Jason J and I, hands down, Jason J and I. When I grow up, I want to be Jason J and I. The guy's absolutely incredible. Obviously, John Young, his channel is great, and that's really it. I don't have too much time on YouTube to watch DJ stuff. I try to watch other things. I watch like Pangolin tutorials and all that to try to learn a little bit more about what I'm doing. Maybe I'll see what other people are doing with Arceus to try to get some inspiration, or I may peek at a gig log once in a while, but I really don't. And it's not that I don't support other YouTubers. It's just that I haven't seen any content. I'm like, ooh, I need to know about this. So that's why I personally try to give you content that I know that I would want to see, so then I get people that are tuning in. I don't want to sit there and just give you stupid advice like, let's do a speaker shootout. And I know tons of DJs do this, and it drives me nuts. Let's do a speaker shootout. Bro, it's on YouTube. Like, how the hell are you going to tell? I've done that with subs, but that's so you can actually hear the difference in bass, right? So you can actually hear, oh, wow, this one really comes distorted because I have a microphone that does a really good job recording it, not which one's louder. And also so you can hear my first-hand thoughts. When I've done these videos live, or not live, when I've done these videos, it's the first time I'm hearing a sub, so I want you to see my reaction, like, ooh, I'm really surprised with this, or, ooh, this was a really bad idea. But yeah, so I try to do stuff that I think you guys would like. I'm not seeing anybody else do that. I'm not trying to toot my own horn because some of these other guys have tons and tons of subscribers. It's just not my cup of tea, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's one other DJ, though, and that's Joe Lott. The products that he reviews, I already have because, US, usually we get them before the UK. But Joe does a really good job. He's very passionate about his videos. I just like watching his stuff. He really takes his time editing them. I don't have the time for it, so kudos to him on that. But definitely Joe Lott. The boy has a really cool channel. DJ, I want to say, is it Angelo? The one who does all the scratch tutorials? He does some really, really cool stuff. Let's see here. Trevor also says, I love product reviews in a large room with no fog. I bought a couple of black lights based on that video. If you guys don't know what he's talking about my shootouts. I do video reviews with or without fog. And if you see a video review with fog, that means it's going to look stupid without fog or haze. And I tell you that specifically. Like the Warlock, I did a video, it shows in the video with and without fog or haze. The 1200, the Asteroid 1200, I want to say I did both. I know I've done a couple on lasers, and I've done them with haze because, duh, unless you're doing graphics, it's stupid to not have haze. But yeah, I do my best to really give you the best of both worlds so you guys can see that. Jacob says, I read that you can change the gobos in UC3. That is incorrect. There are 2 gobo wheels. There's a static and a rotating gobo wheel. The rotating gobo wheel, you can change them. Unless they announce something in the last day, you can change them. Because I opened the light, I played around with it, and the gobos were interchangeable. But I will double check on that. Let's do that right now, actually. And yes, real quick, let's go back for just a second. Let me ask Edgar to make sure nothing's changed. Hold on. second. Hey, comma, I'm doing a live stream right now, and somebody said that they heard that the new Z3 does not have interchangeable gobos, comma. Did something change? Question mark. I was sure it did, ellipsis. Okay, now, somebody asked about the ETX, if EV was ever going to do a dual EV ETX 18. Ooh, hold on a second. Okay. Well, I gotta wait for permission to read this out loud. Okay, so we'll go back in that question in just a second, okay? Jacob says, oh, that was about the Z3. G-Boy says, is it a good idea to use black lights as the wash lights, even though it's not a black light theme party? Okay, so I had to reread that. Is it a good idea to use black lights as the wash lights? Okay, so basically using black lights as floods. Why not? I use black lights all the time. I mean, students love black lights despite of the theme, you know. 1920s theme, black lights. Asian theme, black lights. Black lights are just cool. People like them. But those are not my only floods. I have other floods because I don't want it to be stale and boring. So, yeah, definitely. And if you're wanting the best, you know, the biggest bang of all, go to the ADJ Hex Pars or the Elation 6 Par series, because basically you have your RGB floods, you've got amber, you've got white, so you can do some cool strobes, and you've got UV. That you can do everything and not break the bank. All right, here we go. Exclusive updates only on my channel. You're hearing this first. Official word from Bosch. EV is working on a dual 18 ETX. But so far, they have not been able to develop an amp module that is powerful enough to run the sub properly. Now you may be saying, hold on a second, other two-way subs or dual subs exist and they're really powerful. Apparently they're going for some mega powerful. And that will, I guess, still maybe run on 120 amp circuit. They're saying that they want it to be much better than the XR or the SRX sub. So let me announce this. Exclusive news. EV is working on it, dual 18-inch ETX, but so far they have not been able to develop an amp module that is powerful enough to run the sub properly, up to their standards. They think it has to be much better than the SRX sub. Bam! See, that's why it's worth tuning into these things. So y'all can post this video link on Facebook. Y'all got to do me this favor because I do these things right for free. Yay! So post this link to your Facebook right now and say, big news regarding EV. You heard it here first. Wow, that's cool. Okay, so let's continue down. Would you ever get a high-profile controller like a Grand MA on PC and Able Lights? No, Matt, because I can do everything that can do on CompuShow at a fraction of the price, and by spending a little bit more on the Minicom Pro, I've got motorized faders, and I didn't have to spend $20,000. So I love CompuShow. I like their graphic user interface much better. So no, I will not switch. That's just my personal thoughts on it. Trevor says, I love the COB lights. Any of ADJ will do RGB 8W plus UV in the near future. Piano washers are very nice looking and bright. I don't know what I can and can't say, but let's just say the answer isn't no, and it's not a yes right away. It's really about making it affordable, making it bright, and making the color temperature consistent. So I really think that, across all different fixtures. So I think once they nail that down, you're going to see RGB, AW, COB. But we still got a little bit way to go, because that's a lot of chips to cram on the same size, or the little LEDs chips to cram on the same size board. DGBGFX, do you have problems with fire alarms when using fog or haze machine on the venue? I've done quite a few videos on this. I don't want to go too much into it, but the answer is no, because I get them to shut them off. The one school that didn't shut them off, yeah, we overfogged it because we had a whole bunch of effects, and the alarms did go off, but we always get a fire permit, which basically we pay like $35, $50 an hour. Fire marshal stands there, makes sure the building isn't on fire. Great, done. Because of that, the alarms can stay off. It's more of an insurance thing than anything else. So, that being said, guys, if you have any questions, now is your chance to put them in. If not, then I will be logging off, and of course, I will be back on soon enough. I appreciate all of you guys tuning in and just supporting the video series. Really do appreciate that. G-Boy asked, I really hope ADJ makes a light to compete with the Gig Bar, but with COB lights. I don't like those kind of lights personally. 2 floods, I don't care if it's COB or not, 2 floods are not enough for, you know, what I would want to use them for. I mean, maybe it depends, because I've used 2 lights before and it's fine. But if it's COB, yes. But if it's just a little 3 diodes, no. That's just, you know, me personally. I don't like those that come with a gig bar. COB, I could see that. That would actually look pretty cool. Maybe in the future, and I can't speak for behalf of ADJ, but I personally prefer using my T-Par and then mounting lights on top, because I'm able to switch lights. Because you know what? I'm very ADHD. I'm like, ooh, I like this effect. Ooh, now I like this effect. I can swap it out without losing the whole bar personally. But GBoy, I can definitely send information to one of their product developers and let them know, hey, you know what? Somebody requested this, and you never know what comes out of it. Barcrap asks, what has changed in your light controlling rig since the last video? I believe it was 10 months ago. Okay, give me a second. I upgraded the computer. I added more RAM. It is now running on an SSD. There's a USB 3.0 backup stick that basically allows me to boot Windows in case there's a backup. I have a hot swappable drive bay. And I have this old school ass drive right there with the operating system and everything on there in case there's ever a problem. I have another SSD with a backup on it. I just can't afford to lose that computer more than anything else. I have my eNode, which is not here, but I have a little mount so I can mount my eNodes, and I can have like 4 universes plus the 3 physical, 7 universes total. So I do like that. Thanks for asking. I'm really proud of that console. Jacob says, what lasers do you use? Okay, so right now I have the, for, you know, basic effects, I have the ADJ Royal Sky, Ruby Royals. Those are really good lasers, especially because you don't need a variant. For, you know, special effects, I have the Bliss series, I have the Royal 3D, I have the Hypnotic RGB. That's one of my favorite non-ILDA lasers. ILDA lasers, the big boy control lasers, I use Penguins Beyond to control them, and I just started doing a video series on that, so make sure you guys subscribe to that, please. But I also have the X-Laser Molebeat MK5s, and I want to get rid of those because I like to, they're not analog, they're TTL. Just basically means that while you can color mix, you can't actually dim, let's say, the blue and add red to make like a light purple. It's just full-on blue, full-on red. Most people don't notice that. I do, especially now that I'm really doing a lot with the color mixing and CleanNet and all that. But that's just me. Most people don't even care about that sort of thing. I have a couple Laser World lasers. I'm still trying to figure out this whole variance thing with them. And I'm looking at the Cavans too. The Cavans are so nice. Oh my god. Really would like those. Great question. What is your all-time favorite light? Ooh. InnoSpot Pro. I would say the InnoSpot Pro. Now it's probably going to become the Z3. I do like the Elation. Actually, you know what? I like the Elation LED profile. I think the 3 is the one that actually has framing shutters and everything else. Love that light. Dual gobo wheels, super bright LED, framing shutters. It's basically a moving head Lico. This sucker is amazing. Well, hold on. I know a lot of blue lasers aren't very bright. Is that for safety reasons or cost reasons? That's because you're buying a crap laser. Honestly, that's the only reason why. Or it could be your laser's bad, because the Royal Sky has a blue laser, and it's pretty bright. Keep in mind, though, if it's past a certain brightness, then you're going to need a variant. So that could be why as well. If you're talking about non-ILDA lasers. If you're talking about ILDA lasers, it's because you bought a crap laser. If you guys ever live, like, if you live in LA, and you drive to Vegas, there's a place called Alien Jerky. You'll never buy this crap again because Alien Jerky is amazing, but I don't live there, so. External hard drive I recommend. Actually, I make my own. I get an SSD or I get an external drive. Costs me anywhere from, you know, if it's a regular drive, costs me like $70 for a 2 terabyte. SSD is like $500-600 for a 2 terabyte. I get an external hard drive case, 3.0, self-powered, done. For a fraction of the price that it would cost if you rebuild one. That's what I do. Sorry, I had to eat. My blood sugar was getting low. I have some, like the Lacy ones that I like. Lacy, however you say it. Those are my laptop drives, though. I'm going to be swapping those out pretty soon. How many universes do you use in your large, medium, and small setups? Usually 1 or 2. Sometimes 3, not because I'm out of channels, but because of, you know, I have multiple shows, multiple DJs, so I have all the lights in this one universe. Okay, it's out. So the lights that I personally use are on universe 2 and 3. But sometimes there's a light that I don't use. You know, I let my other DJs use that I'm taking with me. So now I'm using universe 1 and 2 or 1, 2, and 3. Or sometimes I just have 2 universes. Third universe is controlling Media Master. Another universe is controlling Beyond for laser control. So there's a few different there's a few different factors there. I'm getting really tired. Jacob asked, what lasers do I use? Jacob, I answered that already. The laser I bought is moving dots, so no fog. None of the venues here will let me use fog. It was an ADJ Micro World. Those are pretty cool lights. Trevor, just call your fire department and say, hey, if I wanted to run haze at an event, how could I do that? And they'll probably tell you about a fire watch. And then you tell the venue, hey, look, if I get a fire watch, how can we make this happen? I've had venues that tell me they don't allow fog at all. And guess what? After a fire watch, they allowed it. So it's really just finding out why they don't allow it and combating around that. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so let's go back to the InnoSpots for a second. The InnoSpot Pro has Gobo indexing, and I really like that. That's important for me. Let's say I have a Gobo, and I want the Gobo to be in this position, okay? But when I, project it, it's there. Well, I can actually tell it that I need to be right in that position, and then when it moves over here, I want it in that position. So as the the pattern's going, it could be going like that because it's very precise based on what I asked it to do. The Z3 does not have indexing. That's kind of disappointing. So let's find out if you can swap out Gobos on them. And if not, then I'm going to stick with the InnoSpot Pro being my favorite moving head. But that would explain why the Z3 has so many more features and is still at that same price point. So unless there's any other questions, once I find out about that Gobo, I am going to log off. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate everything that you guys have done as far as supporting, sharing, whatever the case may be. Again, if you have any more questions, now is your chance to put them in. I am going to, give me 1 second here. I'm waiting to find out about that Gobo thing so I can show it, or we can tell you guys if the Z3 has interchangeable Gobos. Because there's a very good chance that since I used to, I got to play with a prototype, there's a very good chance that that all changed. So we'll find out shortly. Do you think Gobos will be easier to change? And what fixture are you talking about? Jacob asks, are there any covers for the DT Pro 4000? Not really. I actually just keep my Pro 4000s. I put them inside the truss and they don't get banged around. And I mean, literally, it fits perfectly inside the truss, so I've had no issues. I would definitely recommend that you do the same thing, and I think you'll find that a lot nicer. Okay, let me find here. Stand by for 1 second. I guess I don't. Ah, man. I was wanting to pull up a video that was going to answer a question that somebody had asked earlier, and I guess I don't have that anymore. Let me see if I have.
Hey, everybody.
No? Okay. Alright, let's continue down real quick. Jacob asks for during event use. Oh, you mean actually having a cover form for the event? No, what I wound up doing is, and if you saw the photo that I posted earlier, let me put that up for you. This was the ST 132s, but you could do it with the 4000s easily. I basically just had these made, custom made, and I just wrap them around, cover it, and there you go. Nice and pretty. You can't see the crank stand anymore. So that's what I did, and that worked out pretty well. Matt asks, how often do I use my NE1? I don't use it as much now that the Airstream is out, but I still do use it. It's a great rental piece too. So, yeah, the NE1 still gets some use. Or, again, if we just need some quick basic uplighting, just pre-program the colors and done. Trevor asked, I haven't changed the inner roll. I have Chavez version of that, and it was very hard to do. I don't know, ADJ's GOBO stuff is pretty easy. I mean, even the tougher one, which is Spot Pro, because you got to take, instead of having a little door where you can swap it out, you just take out the whole thing, and they just, little clip pops off, put it back in, and done. I mean, I can change the entire GOBO wheel in less than 5 minutes, so that's pretty easy. Jacob, I had those made locally, so you just need to find a local seamstress or bridal shop or something, and have them hook you up with that, and make sure you guys use fire retardant fabric, so you don't have stuff catching on fire. You definitely don't want that. That would kind of suck. Let's see here. Hang on one second. Okay, real quick commercial I want to show you guys. This is on a playlist that is available right now on my channel for free. This is ClingNet. ClingNet is amazing. Wow, my hair's a mess. ClingNet basically allows you to drive low resolution video, or any resolution video, through your lighting, basically, through your parkings or bars or whatever the case, whatever you have. It's got to have the ClingNet protocol, or you can use EasyCling to convert it to DMX. But what's cool about ClingNet is it has no DMX universes. It's all plug and play using Cat5 cable. Love ClingNet. I have a playlist on it. Here's a quick little teaser that tells you a little bit about ClingNet. So check it out and leave any more questions. We'll be logging off in just a moment. So again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. As I understand, no, the Z3, I guess, does not have interchangeable GOBOs. So if you're looking at doing custom GOBOs, then you'll still want to stick with the InnoSpot Pro or the InnoSpot Elite. Want to make sure there's no more questions. Okay, so I believe that is it. I know if you guys are logging off, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm going to try to do one next week. You guys have a great night, and God bless. Oh, and if you're still watching, check out this new product from Global Trust America.
Hey everybody, Arnaldo Wafferman here on behalf of Global Trust America and DuraTrust. Today I want to talk to you about something that really makes me angry and the solution. So, this is a totem, right? We all know the parts of a totem. We have our actual truss, I'm using the F34, and then we have a top plate. And I drilled some of the holes in different areas depending on how I'm going to mount my light. We put this here, we put the pins and clips, and then we have our light. Now, I do a lot of events, right? And some of the events we have the lights hanging over the trussing, but then we may have them on a totem like this. So when I have a light, such as the ADJ InnoSpot LED with a clamp, this means that I gotta sit here and take these apart and all that. And that's really not a big deal, right? Taking this apart and then, well, basically sitting it on here and pray it doesn't fall. We don't wanna do that. So then that means I gotta take out the clamp. So I gotta take this out, take out the clamp, then mount that on top, put the bolt through there. That's all fine and dandy, but that can be a serious pain when you have several moving heads or when you've got back-to-back-to-back shows. You know, I want to avoid all that extra work. So that's one of the reasons I really hated doing totems. And in some cases, you know, Global Trust has released some great products, right? We've got the DT dyno wheel, but if I want my totem right up against the wall, the dyno wheel is not really an option. I don't always want to do an SAP mount with the bar on top because, again, it might not necessarily fit the look that I'm looking for. I want that nice, clean totem look. I want it up against the wall, and I don't want a T on there. So if I'm doing that, I'm forced doing it this way, and then that drives me nuts. So what's the solution? It's really cool. Ta-da. Guys, check this out. This is the DT-FX-MT, right? I'm just going to call it the FX mount, moving head mount, whatever you want to call it. This is something really cool, really simple. One of those, well, why didn't this come out sooner type products? Because it's going to really speed up your workflow. So what is it? Well, it's a truss stopper. Let's get rid of this here. And we're going to put that there. All right. It mounts in. Then we put our pins and clips like usual. I don't have to take the clamp off. I can basically leave it right here. Just going to go ahead and mount that in. And again, I got to tell you, be smart. Always use your pins and clips. But I'm mounting it here just in a test environment. There we are. Nice and tight. We put our safety cable over here, and you are good to go. But you know what's even better? Is that there's enough clearance here that I can basically mount a floodlight and aim it straight out. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm using the ADJ5P hex pearl, and I can either mount this now straight down to do a nice truss warmer, or I'm just going to put this guy right over here. Obviously, we'll put our safety cables in the back. Make sure it's tightened. And there you go. So now we have two lights on top of the totem. Super clean, neat, pretty. How perfect is that, right? You know, what makes this even more magical for me is that at the end of the night, if I have another show with totems, I don't have to undo all this. I'm just going to literally just basically lift this up with the lights already attached and put it in my road case or whatever the case may be. Very next day, pop it back in on top of the trussing. This allows me to use different totems of different heights, styles, whatever the case may be. But the DT-FX-MT is more than just putting it on a totem, and that's it. One of the things that we do a lot of stage productions, right? Whether it's beauty pageants or choir recitals or even a couple of times plays, and they ask for footlights. So we'll have sometimes floods, but then the director may ask, hey, we want the footlights, meaning the lights on the stage, to actually move and hit different areas. Okay, so we use a moving head. So then that means I gotta take out the little mount, Omega mount off the light, sit it on the floor again. Not a big deal, but when you have a lot of moving heads to do that to, and you've got 2 or 3 shows lined up back to back to back, you want to shave as much time off of your setup and breakdown as possible. And again, the DT-FX-MT was really, it was able to help us out with that. Let's take a look. I have my moving head slightly elevated too. It's a mount, then like a larger moving head with a lot of torque on it, you don't have to worry about the thing dancing off the stage either. This is the DT-FX-MT, an awesome truss stopper for your moving heads, for floods, just a really nice way of creating unique totems that you can use again and again for different shows that give you a lot more flexibility than just using a top plate, and more importantly, shave a lot of time off your setup and breakdown. My name is Ronaldo Woffman on behalf of Global Trust America and DuraTrust. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to leave a comment, do the thumbs up, any comments, questions, leave them below, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you so much for watching.